It's a story that just keeps going.
Okay, so Burgess kicks things off by looking at the origins, right? How Achilles was first. Welcome back to the deep dive. We know you want to get smart about fascinating topics fast. And, well, that's what we do here.
That's the plan.
Today, we're really getting into the legend of Achilles, using Jonathan S. Burgess's book, Achilles, New and Ancient Greek Tales, as our guide.
Right, and Burgess's approach is pretty cool because he blends things. You get the history, the classic myths everyone sort of knows.
Yeah, the big ones.
But also these newer modern interpretations. It's a really full picture.
Exactly. So our mission, basically, is to pull out the key insights. What made Achilles such a legendary figure, and why are we still talking about him?
It's a story that just keeps going.
Okay, so Burgess kicks things off by looking at the origins, right? How Achilles was first seen.
He does, yeah. He traces that portrayal from Homer's Iliad, the earliest big one, all the way through later Greek stuff and Roman raiders too.
So you can actually see the character change.
You really can. It shows how different times, different cultures saw him differently. Myths aren't static, they shift.
That makes sense. The story gets retold, and maybe the emphasis changes depending on what's important then.
Exactly. Which leads us to, well, the core stories themselves.
The greatest hits of Achilles?
Kind of, his upbringing, his massive role in the Trojan War.
His relationship with Patroclus, which is huge.
Absolutely central. And then, of course, the heel, the famous weakness.
Can't talk Achilles without the heel. But Burgess goes deeper than just the plot points, doesn't he?
Oh, for sure. He uses these stories to explore the big themes. Things like fate versus free will, mortality.
Even for a hero who's almost a god.
Right. And what heroism even means. It's not always straightforward.
And what I found really interesting was the inclusion of modern stories.
Yeah, that's a great part of the collection. These contemporary writers offer these sort of alternative takes, like what if this happened instead?
Where they dive deeper into maybe his thoughts, his feelings, things the ancient texts just hint at.
Precisely. It adds another layer. Lets us connect with the character in a new way. It's not just retelling, it's reimagining.
Burgess also touches on Achilles in art, right? And other literature.
He does. He points out how certain images or ideas keep popping up across different forms.
Like what, for example?
Well, like the prophecy about his short life, his fated early death. And his mother, Thetis, mourning him. That's a recurring visual, a recurring theme.
Ah, so those repeated motifs kind of tell you what really stuck with people about his story, the tragedy of it.
It definitely underscores that tragic element, yeah. It clearly resonated deeply.
Now, you mentioned Burgess's style. We're dealing with ancient myths, potentially complex history. Is the book hard to get through?
Not at all, actually. That's one of its strengths. He's scholarly, yes, but writes in a really engaging way.
No dense academic jargon.
Very little. He explains things clearly, connects the dots. You feel like you're learning a lot without feeling overwhelmed,
Perfect for a deep dive like this, then. Accessible, but still insightful.
Exactly.
Okay, so wrapping this up, if someone reads Burgess's book, what's the main takeaway about Achilles?
I'd say it's the richness, the complexity. You see Achilles not just as one thing, not just the warrior or the doomed hero, but as this multifaceted figure shaped by centuries of storytelling. Burgess really brings that layered history to life.
It shows why the story lasted. It has so many facets.
Historical context, classic myths, modern reinterpretations, they all work together.
All right, so thinking about that endurance, all those layers Burgess explores, here's something for you to chew on. What parts of heroism, and maybe even what parts of vulnerability, do you think are absolutely necessary for a legend to last for millennia like Achilles has? What makes a story stick?
That's a great question to ponder.
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Achilles.
Grab Achilles, New and Ancient Greek Tales by Jonathan S. Burgess, now on sale for $19.95. Don't miss this chance to build good habit and achieve remarkable results. Buy now, today.
Like and subscribe for more Bookhaven podcasts.